The Remington Report. Sponsored by Heritage Place, the place where champions are sold. Also sponsored by the Oklahoma Quarter Horse Racing Association, promoting quarter horse, app, and paint racing in Oklahoma. And I'm your host, Greg Thompson of StallionEsearch.com.
You bet I'll be watching.
Hello again, everyone. I'm Greg Thompson of StallionEsearch.com, and you're here watching episode 12 of 15 on the Remington Report. There are no upcoming stakes races this coming weekend, but we got plenty to talk about with all the stakes action that happened last week. So let's get right into talking about it here on the Remington Report.
The race recap brought to you by StallionEsearch.com.
Last Sunday's Big Day race recap begins with the Red Cell Distance Challenge Championship, and that highlights probably the top distance quarter horse in the country in DePassamoke, making his third start of the year and his third start of the meet for trainer Rodney Reed and jockey G.R. Carter. The 6-year-old Okie Dokie Dale gelding drew the outside post in the 870-yard Grade 3 event. Watch as G.R. Carter and DePassamoke springboard from the outside to capture the lead with an awesome turn of foot. The Steve Holt-owned gelding led the field into the stretch with a lot left in the tank, as you can see him well in command at the top and throughout the stretch. With just a few taps to keep in focus, G.R. Carter rode him just about as confident as one can ride on his way to capture the 9th stakes victory in his career. And by doing so, he surpasses the $365,000 mark in earnings. The Mariel Remington Park Distaff Challenge Stakes is the next spotlighted race from Sunday, and the paddock scene had a familiar look to it, with G.R. Carter adorned in the silks of last year's winner of this Win and You're In race, Fredaville, who was the post-time favorite with the highly regarded Chicks Delight and last year's All-American Juvenile Stakes winner back in the pack, set to contest the 400-yard event. With the top three mentioned along the rail in the race, all the attention from the viewing public was drawn to the inside part of the racetrack. The simple truth of the race is that the Del Kolb trained Chicks Delight under jockey Mike Frederick led every step of the race. But their hopes were soon dashed as G.R. Carter and Fredaville surged to the wire in the last 15 yards of the race. The win gave Clinton Crawford-trained Fredaville a berth in the Grade 1 $125,000 Mariel Distaff Challenge Championship at Prairie Meadows on October 27th in Iowa. Fredaville is a 6-year-old mare by Mr. Jess Perry and is out of a Dash for Cash mare named Fearless Freda, and was bred in Oklahoma by her owner, Robert A. Gentry.
And that leads me to the third and last race I'm going to analyze here in the recap section, which is a huge matchup of some of the top over horses in the country, including millionaire Lano Teller.
The race was the Grade 2 Bank of America Remington Park Challenge Championship, going 440 yards. Last year's Grade 1 All-American Derby winner Lano Teller was coming off of a tough defeat in the Grade 1 Leo Stakes at the hands of last year's AQHA World Champion Cold Cash 123. All reports prior to the race from trainer Heath Reed were that the 4-year-old son of Teller Cartel was training exceptionally well. A field of 7 would go postward for the quarter-of-a-mile event. A field that also included the 8-year-old First Down Dash gelding by the name of Little Bit of Baja, who has made over $870,000 in his career, including a huge win as a 3-year-old in the 2007 Los Alamitos Super Derby. Another top contender in the field was the SLM Big Daddy Stakes winner, Mr. Truliano, that had the riding services of Roy Baldiez for trainer Sleepy Gilbreth. The field broke in a line, but as customary, Lano Teller seized the lead within the first 50 yards of the race and began to roll in front towards the wire, with the field in hot pursuit of this Teller Cartel gelding. With the feeling of having the race in hand, Carter eased Lano Teller in the last 50 yards to ward off a fast-closing Mr. Truliano. The win pushes his career total to over $1.6 million in earnings, and the win gives him a berth into the prestigious Grade 1 $350,000 Bank of America Racing Challenge Championship on October 27th at Prairie Meadows in Altoona, Iowa. Lano Teller was bred by Wooten Racing and is owned in partnership with Wooten Racing and Reed Land and Cattle. The Remington Report was able to catch up with jockey G.R. Carter after his winning ride aboard Lano Teller.
Yeah, I did. He's just a phenomenal horse. He's the kind of special horse, that I'm really happy for Terry Wooten and Gerald and Heath Reed. He's the kind of horse that really guy always has and wants in his career. And Heath has done a phenomenal job with him to run him through into his 4-year-old year now. He's won Grade 1 races. I guess this makes all 3 years of his career, 2, 3, and 4-year-old, and made a bunch of money. And he's just really fun for a jockey to ride because he leaves the gate so well, and then has got that turn of foot to open up on him, and then that allows you to either coast or get caught by Cold Cash 1, 2, 3 on a couple occasions. But he's gonna make Cold Cash run his race even when they're going 440 on the right day, or he's gonna beat him. The next race is the Remington Park Championship, another 440-yard race, and Cold Cash wasn't in there today, but I'm sure that they're saving him for the Remington Park Championship. And Lano looked like he had a relatively easy trip today. Maybe that'll set him up for a bigger race in the Remington Park Championship, and maybe we can hold Cold Cash off.
Hey, there's still more to come here on the Remington Report. Don't go away. We'll be right back after these words from our sponsor.
The Remington Report is sponsored by Heritage Place. Heritage Place in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Upcoming yearling sale in September 20th through the 23rd. Heritage Place, the place where champions are sold.
The Breeding Shed Moment, brought to you by StallionEsearch.com.
This week's spotlighted stallion in the Breeding Shed Moment is Teller Cartel, who is the sire of the Bank of America Remington Park Challenge champion and millionaire Lano Teller. His breeding career is rivaling his stellar race career that saw him in the winner's circle as the 2005 All-American Futurity winner, and that 2-year-old campaign led him to being named AQHA Champion 2-year-old Colt of 2005. From only 5 crops to raise, his offspring have earned over $4 million. And that's the Breeding Shed Moment for this week.
An official representative for horsemen in the state, the OQHRA administers race, benevolence, and scholarship programs, all to better the state of racing in the state of Oklahoma. Visit OQHRA.com.
Hey, we'll be back next week to talk about the Oklahoma Speed Fest. That's 6 stake races worth $220,000 for Oklahoma breds. We'll also be diving headfirst into all the Heritage Place Futurity coverage that we'll be bringing to you here on the Remington Report, as well as analyzing the Remington Park Invitational Championship, that year-ending big stake race for all the older horses. And as usual, if you cannot be at the racetrack, be sure to go on to aqha.com/racing and watch all the Q Racing videos to your heart's content. And it's all for free. You can watch the live racing as well as all the race replays from all the partnering tracks. I'm Greg Thompson of StallionEsearch.com. We'll see you next week here on the Remington Report.